Hello, welcome to day 7 of my series for healing whiplash and increasing neck mobility. Today I'll be working on the lovely Molly. Let's go ahead and get started. If you don't have time to watch right now, go ahead and save to your watch later and just watch whenever you get a chance. Alright, so to get started, I'm going to go ahead and offer a nice firm pincer grasp. And we are at the point on day 7 where I should feel pretty free to do some deep tissue in the upper traps and start introducing a little bit more pressure into the neck as well. Nice firm hold here, but nothing too extreme. And gonna approach this massage somewhat similarly to my last massage, but at this point I am gonna start doing some deep tissue in the upper traps. There's very little swelling, and it's just the perfect moment to kind of get into those deeper layers of muscle tissue. Just walking my way around the shoulder bones. Really taking my time with this area around the scapulas. And I'm going to grab my oil. So this part of the massage is an opportunity to give your client a sort of roadmap for what's to come, and especially people that have dealt with whiplash, it's just it triggers that fight or flight response in the body, and it's just important to be soothing in your work as well. And the less off guard you catch your client off guard, the better. So just really taking my time with this neck. And day 7 is also just the perfect moment for revisiting the neck with more detail. So Molly should feel pretty secure with her head in the face cradle. So I'll usually begin moving back into my neck work with my client face down, because they feel a little less exposed. That SEM doesn't have to hold the head any certain way, but it's pretty hard to access the SEM from this position. I'm going to be focusing on working more broadly, the scalenes and the SEM, just offering a little bit more pressure than we have up until this point. And we are at the perfect angle to work on these upper traps all the way into the neck. And you might find that you need to adjust the face cradle a little bit, probably down, to get that angle of the upper traps that you'll need to do deeper work. Take my time with these warm-ups, and I never rush deeper work when I'm working on someone that's had whiplash. Really focus on working that soft tissue and just helping my client become really body aware of this whole area by working pretty repetitively, a lot of effleurage. And at this point, I do want just a soft sheen on the skin. That's kind of the perfect cue for doing deep tissue, so they can get a nice grab of the muscle fiber. And I'm gonna just transition into some deeper work, starting with these rhomboids. Just gradually increasing the amount of pressure I'm offering. I'm gonna start to just touch on those upper traps a little bit with my elbows. That's a really awkward angle for doing deeper work on the upper traps. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to work my way around the scapula. I'm doing some deeper holds, some longer holds than on day 6. So it's not so much about pressing down and up. You're really offering a consistent pressure as you hold and just working through that soft tissue as you release. You don't want your client to feel like they're just being poked. As you practice, you'll start to feel a lot more sensitivity in this area of your body. Remember when I first started doing more work with my forearm and my elbow, it felt just harder because you don't have the same kind of sensitivity as in your finger pads. But you'd be surprised how things change as you practice. Really taking my time with this upper trap today and this trigger point work. But it is good to just give your client and yourself just a little break. Take a break. I say that again. Just take a breath. And I'm just going to transition into working with my thumb and staying on that upper trap as it narrows into the neck, offering a good bit of pressure. We're at the point in our series where we can really start to offer the kind of pressure that can get that deeper release and get things back on track. Always just remembering that you're working with your client, you're a team. Make sure that your client stays engaged. Deep breaths help a lot, especially when you start to do the deeper work. This is my favorite angle for working on the trap as it narrows into the neck. So just so that you guys can get a better view of this next part, I'm going to work on this opposite side. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the SEM and the scalenes. So to start, I'm just offering a firm but gentle touch, and there's a good chance that if the upper traps responded well and if there wasn't a whole lot of swelling, you're going to find more or less the same thing in the SEM at this point. It's not always the case. I'm going to start just slowing way down, offering a little bit more pressure. At this point, I'm going to start finding some trigger points, and just don't rush it when it comes to this neck work. I'm going to work my way into these scalenes, and the brachial plexus is already naturally protected by the shoulder in this position. Not all of it, but some of it. It's a pretty safe position to work on the scalenes from. A little bit more difficult, honestly. But this is just a really nice position of the head because Molly's going to feel less exposed and her head's really stable. Her neck is going to feel stable. And I am going to do some work along these suboccipitals. I'm just going to do some compressive circles. Not holding back at this point if things are responding well and my client wants deeper work. If there's very little to no swelling, we can continue to work a little deeper. Not going to take too much time along this occipital ridge, but a nice thing to include in this routine. And one more pincer grasp here. After that deeper work, it's definitely important to just do something that feels really good and soothing. This feels great for the upper trap, especially. And that is all for today. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you for day 8 of this series. If you did enjoy today's video, you should check out our Patreon page where you'll find some really great content as well. I look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome to Yoga Plus. Courses available from pupil to yogi. Sort by yoga, fitness, and instructors. Create your own routines. Access the Pose Library. Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth, available on Google Play and the App Store.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.